taking care of business as we go along. Man, I tell you what, I'm enjoying doing both shows, as all you know who follow along with us here on ASN. I am the host of Snowman in the Morning. I have the Afternoon Locker Room for now, but I may be grooming a potential replacement for this. Man, we got a lot of stuff to talk about this afternoon, and the word has come down that LeBron James has opted out of his contract in Miami. Now, I got a friend. His name's Michael Lyle. He's going to join me here in about he's going to join me in a couple minutes. Man, listen. How much it's so funny. It's so funny. When he signed this contract in Miami, I kind of predicted he would not last 4 years. Matter of fact, my prediction went twofold. Number one, the moment he loses a final series or more than one final series, he's out. Or the moment he realizes that Cleveland has come to South Beach, and I mean that in terms of him picking up the team, he's out. And lo and behold, that's what happened. I'll get into more of that. Got a little NHL talk for you. My buddy Mike Green is giving me some good notes here. The NHL draft this year, as I am reading my notes here that he sent me, is in Philadelphia. So I'm thinking Wachovia. Is it the Wachovia Center? I probably got that wrong. But it's in Philadelphia, and it's this weekend. And I might just have to have Mr. Green on after the weekend so we can break down the NHL draft and break down how the Hawks will get stronger and better and, pay the LA Kings a visit. But that is next June. Let's get into some more stuff. My buddy Brendan Taylor made a good point about about something he heard on ESPN about baseball being shortened to 7 innings. All right, why? It's just, why do you want to shorten a game that is as... You know what? I'm going to start there now. And when Mike rings me, when Mike gets on the hotline, then we'll go to the Lyle Files. But this is my buddy Brendan Taylor, a dear friend of mine. I met him. I met him on Facebook, and he writes for a couple teams in the NBA, including the Charlotte Hornets. Thank you, Jesus. But this was his thought, and he did this yesterday. I was supposed to hit it this morning. I didn't get a chance to. This is Brendan Taylor's thoughts on what he heard about MLB to play 7-inning games.
The other day, I think it was yesterday, I was watching Sports Nation on ESPN with Michelle Beadle, Marcellus Wiley, and some dude, some generic-looking corporate dude that was on ESPN. I don't even know his name. I don't want to know his name. But they were talking about the MLB possibly changing the game to shortening the innings limit from 9 to 7. So basically, you would instead of having a 9-inning game, you'd shave 2 innings off, and games would now be 7 innings. They asked their panel of experts. Marcellus Wiley is an expert and authority on the game of baseball now. They asked their experts about what they think about the 7-inning rule or limiting the innings to 7. Marcellus Wiley was like, "Oh well, I think it's great. I think they're being nice. I think they should limit the game to 5 innings, 4 innings, 3 innings, because baseball's boring, and you need the 7th inning stretch because people are bored. They need to remind them that the game is still going on. There's 2 more innings left, and they were talking all this trash about baseball and how yes, this is great for the game and whatever. And it made me sick to my stomach. It made me sick because baseball is a game that's centuries old, and everybody, that comes from a family or just anything, there's always talk about tradition. When you go to college, it's tradition. When you're with your family eating dinner on Christmas, it's tradition. Tradition this, tradition that, tradition whatever. Baseball is built on tradition, all right? And for these, quote unquote experts, these media puppets at ESPN to sit there and say, "Oh, yeah, baseball should be shortened to 7 innings." Oh, yeah. Like, that's retarded. And for many reasons, that's not going to help any people. That's not going to draw people into the sport. You shortening the game 2 more innings isn't going to draw the 17-year-old kid in the inner city that baseball's not really appealing to him right now. That's not going to draw him to watch baseball. Nor is it going to keep the fan that does currently watch baseball happy. Baseball purists like myself aren't going to be happy with seeing the game 2 innings shorter. Like, I want you to think about that. If you're a baseball fan or you just know anything about the game in general, the 7th inning stretch be the last inning. Stupid. There's certain things you need to keep in line in sports, and baseball being 9 innings is just one of them. It's just one of those things that goes together. It's like peanut butter and jelly. It's like ham and cheese. It's one of those things. Baseball, 9 innings. 9 innings, baseball. You keep it like that. Like, the fact that idea was thrown around on a nationally televised show on the biggest sports network, which, by the way, ESPN sucks, on the biggest sports network where millions of people are watching, is ludicrous. It is disgusting, and I cannot believe that ESPN even even allowed that on their network. But then again, ESPN is ran by a bunch of idiots, Disney. So, like I said, the baseball, there are some steps baseball needs to take to regain fans back. There was a time when baseball was probably the most popular sport in America, more popular than football. But limiting it from 9 to 7 innings is not going to help the popularity of the sport or the growth. So with all that said, this whole, we need to shorten the game and whatever, that whole idea, stop it. It's ridiculous, and I don't ever want to hear anything that retarded again.
You tell him, BT. I love it. Brendan Taylor of True School Sports giving us that rant, and that's how we're going to kick off the show this afternoon. Man, listen. Why are you going to shorten baseball? And my buddy Mike Green weighing in already. Thank you, Michael. And Brendan Taylor, thank you. Love you, brother. Thank you very much. Why are y'all going to mess with a game that is steeped and built and rooted in tradition? Like Brendan said, baseball, 9 innings. 9 innings, baseball, period. Okay? Mike says, leave baseball alone. It is a tradition-rich pastime. You doggone right it is. Baseball is a tradition-rich pastime. Now, have there been some problems in baseball? Sure there have. What professional sport doesn't have problems? All right? What professional sport hasn't gone through any kind of turmoil? All right, Lord knows the NFL has. Lord knows the NBA has, and I'm not going to touch that right now as bad as I want to. Now, this is stupid, okay? And there's something that Brendan said, aside of the obvious comments, that just made it made sense. And what made sense is this. You have a bunch of media puppets. I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. You have a bunch of media puppets that are actually tossing around the idea that MLB shortens the game to 7 innings. Are you bleeping serious right now? Who in the hell thought of this subject? Okay. Let me borrow from my partner in crime, Alvin Washington, my best friend of 18 and a half years. And y'all know I'm partially mean this jokingly, but I'm going to go ahead and say it the way he would say it. Who in the hell was either smoking or drinking when they came up with this? Are you kidding me? Baseball shortened to 9 innings? Shortened to 7 innings, rather. Now, I know baseball can be long, it can be drawn out, but you have to understand the tradition that goes with baseball, okay? When the first pitch is thrown at 3:05, you're expected to be there until the final pitch is thrown, unless it's an absolute blowout, okay? And then if it's an absolute blowout and you know it's a blowout, hey, you're going to beat the traffic home. Granted, okay? But what if there is a walk-off? Okay, what if a walk-off happens? Let me throw a couple of questions out here. What if a walk-off happens in the 7th inning? Okay, everybody in the park is going, wait, that's it? How in the world, how is that supposed to happen? Okay, now, in the high school ranks, they play 7 innings. That's perfect, okay? And, Mike just threw me another comment, and thank you, Mike Green, for this. The steroid era and all the labor strife has driven fans away from the game. That is very, very true. But the game is timeless and priceless. It is. It is. It is. Okay? Now, what happens if let's put it in the time progression. What if they do shorten it to 7 innings? And what if an exciting moment happens? Okay, you're not going to get time-rich baseball fans that are steeped in tradition, used to the fact that baseball is only going to be 7 innings. It's not going to happen. I sure as hell am not going to buy into that philosophy. Why the hell are we going to buy into a philosophy and mess with something? You know what the old saying is? If it ain't broke, don't fix it, okay? Again, Mike Green, I just lost his comment. Let me pull it up again. Mike Green's comment, the steroid era, all the labor strife has driven fans away from the game, but the game is timeless. All right, do I need to pull up George Carlin's baseball versus football skit? I might do that toward the end of the show, but there is no reason to shorten the game to 7 innings. And also, you mess with the players if you shorten it to 7 innings. Are y'all nuts? Are you actually thinking about shortening a game that is timeless and priceless? And I know I'm going to use that a lot. To 7 innings? Really? You're actually thinking of that? What the hell were you smoking? There's no way. Absolutely no way that can be done. Because when you shorten it to 7 innings, you're taking a lot of tradition away, because the 7th inning, Brendan Taylor said it in his rant, the 7th inning is the last inning. The 7th inning stretch will be now the 5th inning stretch that I've heard at high school baseball games. But that's different. High school plays 7 innings, period. And sometimes they play 8 and 9 and 10. And in some cases in junior college they play up to 14, as Tim McKinney joined me for a call with Wabanzi and Joliet. But 9 innings is what everyone expects. Unless you haven't watched a baseball game in your life. Unless you have not watched any kind of Major League Baseball in your life, then maybe, even maybe, you make this argument. All right, and Mike Green throws me another one. Roger Goodell has ruined the NFL. Damn right he has. You know, when the NFL had Pete Rozelle as its commissioner and later Paul Tagliabue, they were fine. Roger Goodell has taken all the fun out of the game. Don't do that to Major League Baseball. Don't do that to Major League Baseball. All right? You're counting, and okay, let's look at it from a revenue standpoint. You chop 2 innings off the game, you take 2 innings of sales away. We're talking in terms of food. We're talking in terms of drink. We're talking in terms of souvenirs, although some souvenirs either quit by the 7th inning anyway. But at the same time, you're still taking 2 innings of sales away. So it has an effect on everything and everybody. I got a good friend down in Texas, Dr. Michael Prince. He is a baseball, like me and my buddy Mike Hearn, who is listening from Ohio, we are all baseball rats, okay? We are all baseball rats. How the hell are you going to mess with a game, with a tradition-rich game like baseball? How are you going to mess with this? Why are you going to mess with this? Why are you even tossing around the idea of shortening the game to 7 innings? That's stupid. That is ludicrous. That is a putrid idea, and it's a flat-out dumb idea, period. Put something on a silver platter, why don't you? You shorten the game to 7 minutes. You're shortening it. You know what it tells fans? And I know I'm jumping all over the place, but my buddy Brendan Taylor gave me this, and he said, Snowman, go with it, and I'm going to go with it. You know what it tells fans if you shorten the game to 7 innings? It tells the fans basically, we don't think you can keep up. We don't think that you're good enough to enjoy the game. And in an inadvertent, indirect way, it tells the fans, you know what, you're stupid if you follow along. And the reason I think it tells the fans that you're stupid, because you're making a change in one of the most basic rules of the game in the major leagues. In the major leagues. This is Major League Baseball I'm talking about. Let me clarify that right now. You're making a change, and they'll never change it. I hope they never change it. Making a basic rule change that has no business being made. Period. You're basically saying you don't care about the fans and how they feel. And the fans are the reason that baseball is around. The fans are the reason that Major League Baseball has been around. Don't you get that? So to these media puppets, to these people that actually discussed changing the game from 9 innings to 7 innings and how they would feel, take your canned feelings and shove them. Because there is no point and no room for that kind of discussion where tradition is messed with. Period. Let me pause for a break. When we come back, got some more stuff to talk about, including LeBron opting out of his contract and a little bit of hockey talk. That'll make my buddy Mike Green happy. Afternoon Locker Room continues in a deuce.
Have you heard the good news about a company that started 4 years ago and worked at a relentless pace based entirely upon one simple premise? Have you heard the good news about a place you can go to enjoy positive, community-oriented information about the town, city, or region that you live in and the people involved? Have you heard the good news that you yourself can share stories about this same theme to others in your community? That place is LaPorteCountyLife.com. At LaPorteCountyLife.com, you can celebrate a company that had a crazy dream based on a belief that positive breeds positive, and that people want to read, hear, and watch stuff about good people. At LaPorteCountyLife.com, you can go to a place to enjoy positive, community-oriented information about the town, city, or region that you live in and the people involved. Want to see more? Want to read more? Want to hear more? Then go to LaPorteCountyLife.com. Have you heard the good news? Get your best price on Ford trucks, Focus, F-150, Explorer, Escape, and Lincoln MKS, MKT, MKX, MKZ, as well as Fiesta, Fusion, Taurus, Mustang, Navigator, and all other new Ford Lincoln vehicles at the all-new Sowers Ford in Lincoln, Northwest Indiana's newest Ford Lincoln dealer. We offer new and used Ford Lincoln vehicles, parts, service, and used car. If you are in Northwest Indiana or near Michigan City, LaPorte, Hobart, Burns Harbor, Valparaiso, Chesterton, South Bend, or Portage, there is no comparison to the other dealers around town. We are about to earn your business with top quality service and the most competitive pricing in Indiana. Stop by today at 3930 Franklin Street in Michigan City or give us a call at 219-879-5381. That's 219-879-5381. Or visit us online at www.sowersauto.com. Sowers Ford Lincoln, Northwest Indiana's newest Ford Lincoln dealer.
Planning an upcoming event? The completely refurbished Diamond Club at U.S. Steel Yard is available year-round for birthday parties, wedding receptions, business meetings, conferences, and a wide variety of other activities. With a full service bar and the ability to accommodate groups of up to 300 people, the Diamond Club is the perfect place to host your next event. Fully customizable food options through Aramark are also available. Call the Railcats at 219-882-2255 and have the Railcats fashion an event your friends, family, clients, or colleagues will never forget. The Gary South Shore Railcats, redefining fun.
I represent the Excelsior Appliance and Appurtenance Company, Incorporated, with a complete line of household appliances and Is the lady of the house in?
What?
You're listening to the Afternoon Locker Room on the Arena Sports Network.
22 beyond the hour, and I've gotten a lot of positive feedback about what I just talked about with these fools of ESPN saying that it would be good for Major League Baseball to change from 9 innings to 7 innings. No, it wouldn't. Y'all know better. I guarantee y'all know better. I guarantee that. In fact, Mike gives me 2 additional comments. He said, my fondest memories was growing up in old Comiskey Park, sitting in the bleachers with the yellow banisters and the yellow handrails. God, that was great. With my dad. Baseball is beautiful in time and growing up in Chicago Stadium with the Blackhawks. Of course, he's got to throw a Blackhawk plug in, as I will too. We'll talk a lot of hockey next week, and I'm going to have that gentleman on breaking down the NHL draft. So listen for the day that Mike Green will join me. And I just got a terrific comment. He said, Brian, this is real sports talk radio. Thank you, partner. I really, really appreciate that. Waiting for Mike Lyle to get on the line with me for the Lyle Files, and we'll have that in a moment. And Brendan Taylor just shot me. He said it was. I asked Brendan Taylor during the break, and I asked him how was it. He said it was amazing. You covered it on a wider spectrum than I did. I just wrote that. I have to read this article now, and I'll probably expand more on this tomorrow, when the opportunity arises. All right, we usually kick off the show with this, but got a little into the baseball rant, so forgive me, Mr. Lyle.
He is standing by, sir. Good afternoon, Mr. Snowman. What's going on?
How are you, my friend?
Oh, just lovely on what has become a very much intriguing, what's going to be an intriguing NBA offseason, to say the very least.
Gee, you think?
Yeah, I wonder. What is it, huh?
We talked about this a year ago, man.
Yes, we certainly did. And it looks like it's coming to fruition now, although I still have my little bit of thoughts on the fact that LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony are opting out in the same week. We saw that one coming.
These are the Lyle Files, and they are presented this afternoon by Wood Forest Bank, the official bank of the Arena Sports Network. I got my homie Michael Lyle on the line with me. Now, we didn't see LeBron and Carmelo opting out of their contracts within, 48 hours of each other. But you talk about the offseason of the NBA kicking into high gear. There you go, on a platinum platter.
Yes, sir. And like I just mentioned, who would have thought that the both of them would have been opting out in the same week? Let alone they both didn't win championships, so they're both opting out. So I guess they're both taking the high road on this one. You can't beat them, join somebody else. That's how they do it now in the NBA, right? You can't win with one team, go to another team. Although, honestly, Brian, and this is just my assessment on this, and I could be wrong. If I am, then so be it. But given the fact that there's so much money at stake with both teams and both players, I really, truly do not see Carmelo Anthony and LeBron James leaving their respective teams to go play elsewhere. I just don't see it. Let's start with Carmelo's situation.
All right.
I mean, this is not really a surprise because he did mention during the season that he was going to opt out after the summer, regardless of what happened with the Knicks, although we all know the Knicks didn't do much of anything but just win 37 games and get their whole coaching staff fired. So now you have that situation unfolding. Melo comes into the picture, and he did say he was going to check it out. However, he can opt out and get the max deal with the Knicks, which means that any other team in the NBA is not going to pay Carmelo Anthony what the New York Knicks are going to pay him.
Right.
So I really can't see him leaving so much money. I think he's going to be, it's about $78 million more that he's going to be offered than any other team in the league. So I don't know what player in their right mind, I don't care how desperate you are for a championship elsewhere. I mean, that's getting old and tired now too, Brian, with teams. Okay,
it
I don't want
is.
to take this much money. I'll go play somewhere else for less money. Listen, we're living in a society where money rules and runs everybody's lifestyle. So you're going to tell me you're going to leave $78 or something million on the table to go play somewhere else to win a championship? you're out of your mind. And quite frankly, I don't see Carmelo Anthony making that move, and considering that they also brought in Phil Jackson and Derek Fisher, two winningest players and now post-first personnel to help right this wrong shit that's been the New York Knicks, I don't see why he would want to leave. Now, perhaps this is an acting coy, and I'm going to now turn this to LeBron's situation. Perhaps they're both using this as an acting coy to get their front office folks to open their eyes and realize, hey, unless you're going to bring some talent around here to help us win a championship, maybe we need to just opt out and look elsewhere and take our talents elsewhere. Unless you are going to make some moves during this offseason and bring some quality players in to help us compete with the Western Conference. Because if you look at it right now, both the Knicks and the Heat are in the same boat. They are aging. The Heat now, we don't know what happened in the finals with San Antonio. They got whooped up and down the court. I mean, it was almost like the Spurs just had a field day and Miami didn't show up or just didn't have much of a challenge.
Did the entire church say amen in that 5-game conquest? I know I did.
Listen, if I'm the Miami Heat or the New York Knicks or any other basketball, AAU, college, whatever you want to call it, prep league, preschool, whatever you want to call it, Brian, the Spurs should make a copy of that entire NBA final.
Yes.
And make DVDs out of it and make some profit off that and send it out to every basketball organization in the world and say, this is how you play fundamental basketball and how you win championships.
And the biggest Heat supporter in Jeff Van Gundy even said that very comment during Game 4 in Miami when San Antonio was putting on yet another passing exhibition, saying you need to make a copy, put it on a loop, and show everybody that's involved in organized basketball. Even Jeff Van Gundy. Now, when you have Jeff Van Gundy impressed, you have done something, and I mean that. I mean, this is the same fellow in Jeff Van Gundy that said Miami would break the Bulls' record for wins in the season. Are you bleeping nuts right now?
Yeah, and I couldn't even believe he said that much, Brian. And I know that Jeff Van Gundy, aside from Charles Barkley, is one of the more outspoken commentary folks in the NBA. So
yeah.
I didn't even say that was quite surprising, but at least he caught himself and backed up his he made a little bit of amend there by making a comment about the Spurs, because look at what they did. It's fundamental basketball, Brian.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
And they were shooting the ball. I emphasize the word shooting because we are now looking at an NBA these days, Brian, where it's more about flashy plays, slam dunking, throwing it down, highlight reel plays that nobody wants to talk about, that's going to go on social media and get all these kinds of hits. But you look at the Spurs and what they did, they stuck to the fundamentals, and they whooped Miami every inch of their life.
Man, it was the most beautiful thing. And had they not run out of time, I'm speaking of the Spurs, had they not run out of time in Game 2 and missed 4 free throws, it would have been the sweetest sweep.
They should have been a sweep, really. The Spurs should have really swept the NBA Finals, Brian.
I know. You know it, I know it. Because the Spurs came into the finals angry. They came into the finals angry, and I'm going to go ahead and repeat the opinion that I said last year. The Spurs came into the finals angry because they were robbed in 2013, and they said, we will leave, no doubt. 4 free throws kept them from a sweep, but to win it in Texas is even sweeter.
And what's even more impressive, Brian, is they won the last 2 games of Miami's season right in their own gym. That is what you call sticking it right to their face. Because, we know that they got robbed last year, and we also know that the Spurs had home court, which also gave them the edge because it's a tough environment to play in San Antonio versus Miami.
Yeah.
So when you have those Spurs fans screaming down your throats like they were doing, it's tough. And listen, they had a little bit of a scare in Game 5 because we were wondering, okay, Miami came out on all cylinders as you thought they would because you had to think, well, Miami is facing elimination, so they're not going to come out flat. They got to come out and show something. And we were expecting that. I wasn't surprised they went up and took that lead in the first quarter, but then I was telling my wife, I said, if they let San Antonio keep that door cracked open, or as you would say, sir, and I'm going to use your word because it's not your phrase because you didn't copyright this, as you tell me, they kicked the door down, and what's going to happen? They walked right through that door and took care of business, and the rest was history. That's what the San Antonio Spurs did when the Miami Heat let them back in the game in the last half of that game.
Yeah.
That's what they did.
Yeah, it's the truth. It's a truth. I mean, San Antonio had they had the opportunity, and think of how they used last year as fuel to this year. A 7-game war with Dallas, a 6-game war with Oklahoma City. You didn't think they'd have the nerve to kick the door down when the opportunity arose to face the so-called king and his court? Come on, we all knew what was going to happen. If you didn't see this coming, folks, then y'all didn't pay attention to what the Spurs did in the playoffs this year, period.
And you can imagine that's probably why LeBron opted out today, because he look at his team this year. I mean, Miami did their thing. They went to the finals 2 of the last 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
But Wade and Bosh were virtually no-shows in that NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Line.
Yeah.
I don't think LeBron didn't take that lightly, because he was doing what he was supposed to do. Listen, we could say we've been talking about how these whole comparisons about LeBron and MJ are ridiculous, and we're tired of hearing about that. And now this latest little bit of what's going on with LeBron just fuels that fire and that conversation even more. But he did what he was supposed to do in the finals. I'm not taking anything away from LeBron, because he put up the numbers that he was supposed to put up.
Yep.
Unfortunately, his teammates did not, as he was hoping, followed his lead, and he was caught being a one-man show. He did score 35 and 10 in that last game. Everybody else, virtually a no-show. So he probably looked down and said, you know what? I don't even know. I mean, I won 2 championships here. Maybe I need to start thinking about going somewhere else now, because he wants, believe it or not, he wants to catch MJ. You're not going to tell me that LeBron doesn't hear this chatter or any of the stuff that we talk about off the air or social media on a regular basis. You know he hears about Michael constantly. So he would want nothing more to surpass what he would consider what he called his idol.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to get 6 or 4 more rings like he was saying he's going to do in Miami.
Right.
Probably not going to happen in Miami. It might happen somewhere else. I don't know. My guess, though, Brian, is that I'm a realist, and I don't think that, listen, we all know that money talks, BS walks.
Mm-hmm.
So if Miami's going to pay LeBron, what little money to stay in Miami, he's going to stay. And he's just going to have to just hope that the organization gets players around him and maybe make some moves and shakers during the offseason and bring some quality talent in so they can get back to the finals. And if they do have to play San Antonio, they'll be much better prepared next year than they sure as hell were this year.
How does the legacy of Greg Popovich and what he has preached since his first year in San Antonio, measure against some of the champions that have been quote unquote dynasties for a while? I'm talking about the Celtics of the 50s and 60s, the Showtime Lakers of the 80s, the Bulls of the 90s. The dynasty team in the 2000s has been the San Antonio Spurs. How do you measure them to the other dynasties that have come and gone in the NBA?
Because it's simple, Brian. They built from the bottom up, and they stuck together. And you have a coach like Greg Popovich who emphasizes all the time. Listen, they get on his case because he's not what you call a very talkative coach during the media timeouts within the media itself. I mean, he reminds me of a Gino Auriemma. A guy like Gino Auriemma, where he doesn't just talk and talk and talk.
Mm-hmm.
He's about going out there, doing his business, taking care of business,
and
making sure he molds his players and to become the best he can be, and not only doing so, but by winning. And that's what I compare Greg Popovich to, because he is not one to be a show-off. He's not about, I'm one of the top coaches in the league. I can say and do whatever I want. No, he is zeroed in, and you could tell by this last season, this past NBA Finals alone, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
He was zeroed in. He wanted nothing more than to take Miami after what happened last year. He wasn't caring about, this is a rematch. No. His objective, and that's what I like. He sticks to his objective, and he takes care of it. Now, you can say whatever you want about his personality. Listen, everybody has their own personalities and any facts of life. We walk and talk and do things that many people may not like about us alone. But listen, at the end of the day, it's not about what kind of personality Greg Popovich has. It's about what he does as a basketball coach, and he has cemented himself in a legacy amongst the greatest that have coached in this game. I mean, 5 championships, and considering that he's done it with the same core players that he drafted and stuck with over the years, there's nothing more impressive than that. He didn't buy his way into the championships like some of the other teams did. He kept his players and molded them into champions. Tim Duncan and now has 5 championships.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on. This is the guy who started in college, finished all the way through college.
Yeah.
And came to the pros and stuck through it with one team.
Mm-hmm.
What does that tell you? This is a team that you have to respect. And I tell people, the Spurs are a team you have to respect. You may not like them for any other reason, but you have to respect them for what they do. Because
you must.
They're not about going out. Yeah, they're about going out there and taking care of their business. They're not about out there trying to and ridicule or embarrass the other team. They're out there trying to win games because that's what their job is: win games, draft players. They're not looking to spend a lot of money on players. Look, Tim Duncan even opted in his contract.
Yes.
Because he wants to
yes.
stay there. He's not looking to bail out and say, okay, well, I won 5 rings, now I'm going to go elsewhere. No. Those are the types of teams and players that you have to appreciate as a basketball fan because you know that is a definition of loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
Think about your team and your coach and your players and your franchise and your organization because you love what you're doing there and you're happy. And no matter what, even if you do go through some of the roughest times, and Tim Duncan did go through rough times. So
yeah, he did.
But they stuck it out, and that's what makes him a legacy.
And you know whose pattern he followed? I'm talking to Tim Duncan. You know whose pattern he followed about staying in there through the rough times and then riding out on top? How about his predecessor, the Admiral, David Robinson?
Oh, yeah, another one. I mean, one of the 50 greatest players in league history,
yes.
Brian.
Yes.
He was at the Game 5 of the clinching of the final. So that alone tells you something about Tim Duncan. And it was Robinson who molded Duncan into the player he is now. I mean, Robinson went through a long time of being in that organization, and the Spurs were what you call a cellar dweller for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
He stuck it out, and in '99, even though it came at the price of my Knicks, they won their first championship, and
right.
he won another one in 2003. So, Brian, the moral of this story is what I'm talking about here with what happens today with LeBron opting out and then Melo opting out on Monday, or yesterday rather. Bottom line is this: you have to understand loyalty is becoming a lost cause in the NBA right now.
Yeah.
But you got teams like San Antonio and elsewhere who stick to their team, and this is why you say the Spurs are what you would call somewhat a poster child of loyalty because their players are not going anywhere. They're staying put. They love their coach. They love their fans, and they love the organization that are winning. And they are molding the next future of players. I mean, Greg Popovich did say that the NBA Finals MVP, Kawhi Leonard, was going to be the future of their franchise. Well,
the way he
looks like they're off to a good start to me, and it
Yep.
looks like he's not done. He might win another 2 or 3 more rings if he stays put in San Antonio and continues to do what he did in the postseason.
Oh,
so,
Kawhi Leonard showed off. Kawhi Leonard showed off the last 3 games, which basically the last 3 games, especially the 2 in Miami, and I will continue to make this case. The 2 in Miami got Kawhi Leonard the MVP because you're not going to tell me that he didn't just come out of nowhere. And he had 2 subpar games in San Antonio, yes, where they split. But you're not going to tell me he's not the MVP after the way he shut down almost every perimeter member of the Miami Heat and the way he put up 29 and 24 in Miami's house. Come on, that's MVP worthy.
He set the tone in Game 3 with his performance, and that's what carried the team from there. It was a hands down, no question. He should have MVP, and it wasn't just him. And look how balanced the team was, Brian. It was
right.
Kawhi Leonard doing the work. Tim Duncan and Ginobili and Tony Parker, the big 3, as far as I'm concerned, for the Spurs, didn't do much. I mean, they put up the usual numbers, but Kawhi Leonard was, without question, the star of that NBA Finals, and that's why he was deserving of the MVP trophy, no question.
Michael Lyle joining me for Lyle Files Live. It's presented by Woodforest Bank this afternoon. My friend, always a pleasure. I love having you on. I'll talk to you in a week.
My friend, we are just getting started with this NBA offseason chatter, and I think it's going to get more compelling as the weeks and possibly the months pass.
Yes.
We'll see.
All right. Thanks a lot, buddy. Appreciate the time.
All right. Take care.
Michael Lyle for Lyle Files Live. Listen in on Friday as I will have Michael Ramos, who will bring the knowledge with the round ball report. She'll come on Friday, and we will hit this again. 41 beyond the hour here on the Afternoon Locker Room. We hope that you enjoyed it. Got some folks that are, you know what, Mike Hearn, the voice of the Northeast Ohio Predators, sent me a note when I went on the baseball rant, and Brendan Taylor helped me. He says, quote, "People have ruined baseball games. It's supposed to be an experience. It's more than just the game. Why would you only want to go for an hour and a half when you paid all that money?" Mike, you are so true with that. Because the prices for Major League Baseball game tickets are absolutely off the charts. All right? They're absolutely off the charts. And you're going to spend all that money and not get the full experience, especially when talk is going around about
cutting the game to 7 innings. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. A pause for a break. We'll go inside the journey. I'll tell you what I'm up to health-wise, and y'all are going to like it. And I borrowed from my good friend Joshua Jackson, who you heard on the show this morning. I'll be back.
Hey, I'm Charles Tillman, cornerback for your Chicago Bears. I've tackled a lot in my life, but nothing more difficult than waiting for my daughter to receive a life-saving heart transplant. Thanks to the selfless gift of another human being, my wife and I get to hold our daughter each and every day. You too can help give someone a second chance at life. As a registered organ donor, you can help save the lives of more than 25 people. Be a team player. Register to be an organ and tissue donor at donatelifeillinois.org.
Chow down with the Italian collection at Subway.
Delicioso.
Try the Mongialis's Chicken Pizzola Melt, a fresh take on Italian with tender, juicy chicken, zesterific pepperoni, and plenty of our signature recipe marinara sauce.
Perfecto.
Mamma mia!
And taste the amore with the Meatball Pepperoni Melt, a kickin' combination of Italian-style meatballs and pepperoni on your favorite freshly baked bread.
Only at Subway.
And only for a limited time.
Don't miss out.
Subway. Eat fresh.
At Midwest Interventional Spine Specialists, you can trust in Northwest Indiana's first team in pain management. For more than a decade, the MIST team has proudly served the residents of Northwest Indiana, providing accurate diagnosis and innovative treatments for spinal pain and many other types of acute and chronic pain. Each of our physicians has achieved board certification in as many as 3 different specialties. They are actively involved in ongoing research that keeps their practice on the leading edge of the profession and are often called upon by area hospitals to lecture on pain management. Over the years, each has been recognized as a leader in the field and earned a strong reputation for delivering excellent results and genuine compassionate care. To them, nothing is more rewarding than helping patients with severe pain regain the kind of normal, active life that the rest of us take for granted. For more information, pay us a visit at 8840 Calumet Avenue, Suite 103 in Munster, or give us a call at 219-836-7246. The Midwest Interventional Spine Specialist, first in proven pain solutions, first in patient care.
Have you ever wanted your own phone app but thought it was too expensive? Here is something.
Hey, I'm Charles Tillman, cornerback for your Chicago Bears.
Have you ever wanted your own phone app but thought it was too expensive? Here is something even better. The best custom mobile page QR system in the world, designed for smartphones, iPhones, and tablets. Have the business card of the future for our mobile world. It includes your own customizable mobile page with unlimited flexibility, your contact info, YouTube channel, videos, events, specials, audio, and more, all on your mobile page. Your own back office so you can make real-time, unlimited updates and changes as often and as much as you want. One code is all you will ever need as you change anything in real time from your back office. This is your business card on all ads, Facebook, t-shirts, flyers, and doorways everywhere. All of this for $99.90 a year plus a $3 payment fee. Visit www.qr2015.net for more information or call 312-802-1208. That's 312-802-1208. The future is in your hands. Call or visit online today.
Looking for something to do Saturday nights this summer? Then the Arena Sports Network is a place for you every Saturday night. Every Saturday night, the Northeast Ohio Predators take center stage in semi-pro football action right here on the Arena Sports Network. As you can hear Mike Kern with the call every Saturday night at 7 p.m., only right here on the Arena Sports Network.
I represent the Excelsior Appliance and Appurtenance Company, Incorporated, with a complete line of household appliances and is the lady of the house in? What?
Testing. 1, 2. Oh, sorry. You're listening to the Afternoon Locker Room on the Arena Sports Network. Is this thing on?
46 beyond the hour, 14 before the new hour, and we're getting ready to get out of here in just a moment. But my buddy Mike Green is listening. He is in Columbus, Ohio, but he is White Sox true and Blackhawks true, and I'm going to go ahead and say hi to him. I love him for the notes he sent me. And what we're going to do, I'm going to have Mike on the show one day next week to break down the NHL draft. And beginning in August, Mike and I are going to team up for a hockey show. The working title is Between the Boards. That's our working title right now. Mike and I are going to put our heads together, and we're going to come up with this. He's going to be on the hotline, and we're going to talk some hockey, and we're going to get in some real hockey fans' ears about what needs to go on. And speaking of hockey, he gives me this note before the draft. Patrick Sharp trade rumors are flying off the charts again. It's interesting, and the Hawks could be active, and he also adds it's all about cap, and Taves and Kane need long-term deals. Man, that is so true, and I expect Taves and Kane to both get long-term deals after coming up a goal short of returning to the Stanley Cup Finals. So listen in August for Mr. Green and the Snowman Between the Boards, all about hockey here on the Arena Sports Network. My producer, Sherry Lynn, giving us a listen while she is mobile this afternoon. She says everything sounds good, everything's clear. My producer, Davude, here in the studio said the same thing. So got a thumbs up all the way around, and thank you all very much. Now I'm going to close with this. There have been so many times that, and I know I'm putting myself out there, but I'm following the example of two of my dearest friends. Aaron Mayfield, you know him as the Bear, and Joshua Jackson. You've heard him on the show with me many times. They decided that they were going to get their lives in order health-wise, and they were going to go hardcore with it. Usually when I make a decision like that, there's always a condition. Well, there are no more conditions. As of last weekend, I decided to do the same thing. Am I putting my body through a shock? Hell yeah. But you know what? I don't care right now. I don't care. You know, I'm about a month away from my 42nd birthday, and I want to see it, and I want to have a body that'll make a lot of people jealous. Seeing the progress of my buddy Aaron Mayfield and seeing the progress of JJ, you know, it's like, all right, it's my turn. Let's get it in gear. Let's get it going. Period. So when you make a decision like that, health-wise, you got to stick to it. And I have already admitted, and I will continue to admit, that one of my problems lately has been consistency because of everything going on around me. But that is a period of time where you have to shut everything out. Everything that's going on around you doesn't matter. You have to shut it out, and you have to concentrate. You got to focus. I'm focused now. I am really, really focused. Did a lot of cardio the last couple of days. Going to mix in some weights here beginning probably tomorrow or Thursday, probably Thursday. And mix in some sit-ups and some push-ups, and off to the races we go. Now, I will say beginning Monday, I will post a blog about it. So you all can track the progress, not just of myself, but of JJ and of Aaron. I want them involved. I can't wait to have them involved. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be our version of Michael Jordan's The Breakfast Club. All right? And anyone who knows of Michael Jordan and how he used to work out with Ron Harper and Dennis Rodman and how their work ethic is, it's time to kick it into high gear. So I think that's what's going to happen. We got a few minutes before we get out of here this afternoon. Northeast Ohio Predators football comes your way from Lima, Ohio. Oh, thank you, Michael. Mike just gave me a great title for Mike Hearn just gave me a great title for our hockey show, In the Crease. That'll premiere in August. So we want to bring I can't believe I jumped on this subject, but you know what? Let's take it and run with it. Mike Green, let's take this and run with it. We want to bring a show to the fans about hockey. I mean, I'm talking hardcore hockey fans, all right? I'm talking fans that get into it, that do their research, that read their notes, that watch the game, that notice the little nuances of the game. And I've been a hockey aficionado since 1990, all right? Actually been a hockey fan since 1989. When I figured out that I hate the Detroit Red Wings and I hate the St. Louis Blues. Now, I got a reason I hate the St. Louis Blues. Mike Green says the sin bin. I mean, one of them. One of the titles. We'll have one of the titles. Mike Herner will be on this Saturday in Cleveland. Am I reading this right? He'll be in Lakewood. He'll be in Lakewood, Ohio. There we go. Right outside of Cleveland with Northeast Ohio Predators football. 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. You can catch the action here on the Arena Sports Network. But we're going to come up with a title. Mike and I are going to talk, but we will have a hockey show for you guys beginning in August that will take you through the season, and y'all are going to have fun with it. We're going to have a lot of fun. And after that, there may be a baseball show in the works. So you gotta stay tuned. You have to stay tuned. My buddy Keith Myers was scheduled to join me today. Unfortunately, he could not due to some bad storms in Indianapolis. So he couldn't join me today, but I expect him to ride shotgun with me later this week. So Keith Myers, I hope you're safe, brother. I love you. God bless you, and please be safe with all the storms that are going on here. Now, I'm going to leave this for y'all, and especially for my hockey partner, Mike Green. How did I become a Blackhawks fan? It actually started when I woke up one morning in '85, and the night before I heard that the Hawks were down 4-1 to the almighty Wayne Gretzky and the Edmonton Oilers. And I woke up the next morning only to find out they came back and won the sumbitch 6-4. And '85 was the first year that I remember the Blackhawks going to what was then the Campbell Conference Final. And they ran into Wayne Gretzky, and Wayne Gretzky put a foot in our ass. That kind of started it for me. But around '89 is when I really got into hockey. That's when I started learning about the Blackhawks and learning about the players and learning about that loud foghorn at old Chicago Stadium. And we've been through some lean times all the way up until the early 2002 when they played the St. Louis Blues. I'm not even going to get into that. But here is the reason that I'm a bigger Blackhawks fan now. In 1990, I went away to Northeast Missouri State University, which is in Kirksville, Missouri, which is right in between St. Louis, Kansas City, and Columbia. And, Mike, you're going to love this one. I was surrounded by Blues fans. So I said, the hell with this. I'm going to have fun. Brett Hall was surrounding me. The old Checker Dome was surrounding me. I was surrounded by Blues fans. So I said, you know what, the heck with this. I'm going to handle this the way old Snowman knows how to handle it. I dove in and started researching. I started reading. I started keeping up with everything. And that is how I really became a fan of hockey and a fan of the Chicago Blackhawks. Hey, great note, Mike. The Hawks would have won 3 cups in the 80s if it were not for Wayne Gretzky. But you know what? Wayne Gretzky was Wayne Gretzky, and the Edmonton Oilers were the Edmonton Oilers, and I'll leave it at that. And on that note, we're going to get out of here. If it were not for Wayne Gretzky. How true is that? How true is that? Man. Can't argue the truth, man. You cannot argue. You know what? For some people, they can't handle the truth, as the opening says. They can't handle the truth. And they're not going to handle the truth either. But we will. This is the Afternoon Locker Room, sports talk from a fan's perspective. Hey, thanks, Mike. I love the people that help produce the show. Mike Green, Sherry Lynn, my buddy Davoud in the studio with me from our studios here in Glenview, Illinois. Well, that's going to do it. Tomorrow, more free agency talk and a few other things up my sleeve. Like I said, this has been the Afternoon Locker Room. Sports talk for the real fan. One of those two taglines will be added to the show, and I'm going to let Mike pick one. I'm going to let Mike Green pick the tagline that will be added to the show. It's either going to be sports talk from a fan's perspective or sports talk for the real fan. Why? As my buddy's shirt says best, damn straight we can. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. I love you. God bless. Make your next move your best move. So long, everybody.